not pledged to hold a similar vote. Let's discuss with Democratic Congressman Subramanyam of Virginia. Congressman, thank you so much for being with us. I've seen that you've been critical of the senators that decided to move forward with supporting this GOP-backed bill to reopen the government. I do want to ask you about Virginia Senator Tim Kaine, though, because he's made the case that at least for federal workers, 35,000 plus of which live in your district, this is a win. It guarantees that they'll be able to keep their jobs. It guarantees that they'll be receiving back pay as well. You don't see it as a win for them?
It's a win on the face of it. I'll say that there are other ways to get rid of or fire workers besides that. There's end arounds, and this president has also denied the will and instructions of Congress and the law multiple times. For instance, firing people during the shutdown was illegal, but he did it anyway, right? And so I don't trust this president. I don't trust the Senate majority. I don't trust the House majority. What I wanted was a lot more than just assurances. I wanted us to actually get something on the table. What we should have been doing is the House should have met over the past month, and we should have been hashing out what we're going to do on health care so that premiums don't skyrocket for the American people. Instead, what we got was a pinky promise, which isn't exactly what I wanted when we started this whole thing. The other thing is that Republicans in the Senate, actually 8 of them are going to be getting $500,000 each in payouts because they were the subject of the insurrection investigation for January 6th. And so there's more money in there for Republican senators than there is for health care in this bill. I have to be a no on this.
That's really interesting. I do wonder if focusing on extending these ACA subsidies was a goal of the shutdown, and what you have now is, as you put it, a pinky promise. Is there any guarantee that Republicans are actually serious about doing something that would benefit Obamacare, given that for about a decade, the president himself has been campaigning against it? He's been talking about repeal and replacing. Are you confident that there is something substantial to replace it with?
I really just want to know what the plan is for Republicans on health care. They haven't given me a plan besides cutting health care, for instance, cutting Medicaid access over the summer. So I'd love to know what their plan is on health care. But if their plan is to allow people's premiums to skyrocket anywhere from 20 to 500% over the next year, then that's not a very good plan. We need to find something better. But I will say there's been some Republicans that have actually put forward one-year extensions of this, which I don't think is enough, but it's something, right? And so if you put this bill to a vote on the House floor, I think it does pass, unless Donald Trump starts calling Republicans, then it never passes, right? But if you had the will of Republicans and Democrats in the House coming together for a vote, this would pass. So Speaker Johnson just needs to put it on the floor for a vote.
You spoke about wanting to extend it beyond a year. I've spoken to Republicans who make the case that this is simply a Band-Aid. They believe that in order to help Obamacare and sustain premiums at the level that they are now, you're essentially borrowing money from the nation's grandchildren. You're leveraging the debt, essentially. What's your response?
That's rich, considering they just gave $5 trillion in tax breaks to the wealthiest corporations in America. I mean, they say they care about the debt, and yet they give away money to the richest corporations and people in this country like they did over the summer. But yeah, let's have a conversation about the cost of healthcare. That is very true. That healthcare has skyrocketed over the past 4 years, and there's bipartisan solutions to this. I put forward many bills on this with Republicans co-sponsoring it. We can do this together. It's not happening.
There's 2 things I want to ask you about. But first, does the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer need to step aside as leader?
I'll leave that up to the Senate. I mean, I'd say Hakeem Jeffries has navigated this well. He's been forceful in responding to what's happened here, and he's kept the caucus in the House united for the most part. So I think Hakeem Jeffries is doing a good job. It's really up to the senators what they want to do with Chuck Schumer.
He does represent the party as a whole, and if Democrats as a whole have decided to cave on this issue, forgive the description of caving, if you object to it, sure. But do you not think that Jeffries could have done more?
No, I would say this. You know, we had 6 months. Republicans had 6 months, right? And Virginians went to the ballot box last week. They overwhelmingly elected Democrats. But I talked to a lot of those Virginians who came to the ballot box. They weren't happy with Democrats either. And so it's a good point that we actually, as a Democratic Party, need to start fighting like it's 2025 and not like it's 2005. We need to start acting like things have changed because they have changed, right? And there's unprecedented things happening in politics. And so I think that needs to be an important part of the conversation for our party moving forward. I heard that from voters all last week during the polls and after the election too, that this wasn't just a rubber stamp, excitedness about the Democratic Party. They wanted to see more from the Democrats as well.
Congressman Subramanyam, always appreciate you coming in and joining us.